Hello everybody, my name is Ronald, and this is Valheim, a review. Valheim review. I am here with my friend, Prompstifer. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Look at him over there. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of the game, more or less, and what we just really enjoyed about it, and what we disliked about it. So I think we need to start off with first things first. Getting started in the world, you're not necessarily, your hand's kind of held. You get a little bit of a tutorial from Hugin, and that's pretty good, right? But the game really doesn't start to take off, for me at least, until Ichthyar.
Agreed.
I think the boss battle of Ichthyar is insanely good. Insanely good. He has a few different mechanics, very well telegraphed. You can tell whenever he's doing a certain attack. Um, and honestly, hold up. Let me look out the window over here because we have Ichthyar just right out there. You might be able to tell. Honestly, I just think he's probably the best boss battle and the one that really just gets you hooked into the game. You know? And the lightning attacks, it makes you feel like you're playing a Norse game because whenever you think Norse, most people's initial thoughts are Vikings, Thor, Odin, um, all of which are in this game. We, the character, are Vikings. We are in the 10th realm of the Norse mythology for this game, Valheim. Uh, and, you can see Thor. You can see Odin. By the way, this is spoilers. Like, this is a review. If you're here and you're not expecting spoilers, then yeah, what are you doing here? Anyway, you see Odin, and it's just really good. I think the combat is insanely good. I like the I hate how every game gets compared to this anymore, but the Dark Souls-esque type of combat where you can roll, hit, dodge. Well, I guess dodge is roll. Jump over things. The combat's very, very good. Very well off. The only thing I dislike about the combat, well, not just the combat, but the game in general, is how everything, and I mean everything, uses stamina.
Yeah, it's super annoying sometimes.
Even building and destroying uses stamina. Um, Other than that, I really can't think of too terribly many things like not well off in the game. I have to say, after Ichthyar, the Bronze Age, it's okay for the first time around. But if you're not rocking two, three people, the Bronze Age takes an absolute dick year to do.
Oh yeah, it fucking does. It's such a grind to it's such a grind when it comes to getting bronze. But luckily, that initial grind is the only metal that you have to actually grind that much for. Iron being in the crypts and the getting black metal from the fallings and finding silver veins in the mountains is nowhere near as difficult and grindy as getting bronze. Because of bronze, with all the other metals, it's one metal. With bronze, it's two separate metals you have to collect from the Black Forest, and you need less of one and a lot more of the other, making it it's very grindy and it can get very monotonous and boring very quickly.
You see, I've done this grind multiple occasions. I did it in a solo world, which I've videos for. I've done it with a two-person team and a three-person team. And I have to honestly say, in my experience, the best experience was with the three-person team. Because we had two people out going getting the metal ore, and then we had one person smelting it. And it was just the smoothest time you could have had. Even with two people, you can kind of have that. It's a little bit more walking back and forth unless you have a cart. But even if you have a cart, I don't like the cart. I like the cart, but I don't like the cart, you know? Like it gets destroyed very easy, which is why I don't like it, right? But it's super useful. I do like it, right? So unless you're just constantly having that cart with you, it's just insanely hard to do as a single or a duo team, right? But I have to say, like that really on one of our playthroughs, because we've done about 3 playthroughs, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done a few. We haven't done any complete playthroughs. We've done a few playthroughs where we got
We've
a
done
little
one
bit. We
complete
got up
playthrough.
to
This is
yeah.
a
Well,
complete
this
playthrough.
this one we haven't done more than this one, but
Yeah.
on all the previous ones we've gotten to at least bronze, and the grind to get bronze has not changed a single bit in each one. That it just takes forever.
It really does, and I um I love this game. I love this game,
And
but I have to say one of the most demoralizing things is going out, getting bronze, and then realizing, or getting copper, getting your tin, and then realizing, oh, I didn't get enough of both of them. Now I have to go out and get 30 more bronze to match the tin, or I have to go out and get 10 more tin so I can make this 20 bronze into, or 20 copper into bronze. I mixed my words up a little bit there, but you know what I meant. You should get the gist.
yeah,
Um,
where it's to a point where so having more people doesn't necessarily make it easier because you have to get that much more copper and tin.
I'd say it does. Like that 3-person team we had, like we may have
So
needed to get more, but we were more efficient
it
when
so
getting it.
having more people makes the work easier, but on the it's a double-edged sword in a way because you have to get triple the amount you would need for one person, but having those three people does make it go a lot faster and a lot smoother because two people can mine out a copper vein and then bring it back. The guy at the forge can sit there and start smelting the copper. The two guys can go finish mining out that copper vein, find a new one, and just keep
Hmm.
mining out the copper.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I'd have to.
as one person, which they do tell you the game isn't intended for one person, but you can play it solo. It's extremely difficult.
The
But
game is intended for 3 to 5 people. It's even noted in the description on Steam, 3 to 5.
the sweet spot when it comes to collecting resources is three, because you can have each person collecting a different resource, or two on one resource and the other one refining said resource,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. Or with two people you can have a system similar to that, but it's slower because it's only one person going out getting the resource if you're doing it like that. Whereas if both you got the resource, no one's back there refining it, so it takes extra time to come back and refine it. Then have both of you go out and get more.
Yeah, that's normally the issue that we ran into it as a duo, which we primarily played the game as a duo. Uh, we'd both go out to get the resource because if one of us went out, we'd normally easily get overwhelmed with mobs, and it'd become a source of can I run away, and if I can run away, will I be able to escape this train of mobs, or get back up before they kill me?
That is especially the case when it comes to the Black Forest. It's not really that bad because once you get copper, you can kind of conquer the Black Forest a lot easier because the Grey Dwarfs become like almost nothing. That even the trolls become just a nuisance, really. But if you're
Honestly,
going somewhere
yes.
like the mountains or the plains, those two are required. You have to have somebody with you, otherwise, if you get swamped by wolves, the golems, if you're there at night, the fullings, if you get swamped by drakes, even if you get swarmed by a bunch of those, you're not gonna make it back in one piece unless you are a god at this game.
I've I think I've had the most issues in the mountains, right? Like starting the mountains, if you don't know, if you're going into this game blind, the mountains are the most difficult piece you'll ever face. I feel like. Because you have to combat the cold, you have to combat endless waves of wolves. It feels like, honestly, it feels like endless waves.
Yeah,
And then
unless
drakes,
you
which
on
are your one true ranged enemy. The one true ranged enemy.
drakes are annoying, but they're not hard to deal with.
Drakes are a menace. And I've
If you
punched a
have
drake before.
if you prepare, right? If you prepare accordingly and have plenty of arrows on you, drakes are nothing but a nuisance, really. But if you run out of arrows and you can't if you can't fight the drake that's in the air, then you run into problems because then that you run the risk of running away from a drake and running into a pack of wolves or running into a golem, which could actually help you because the drakes will fight the golems, but the golem will just straight up kill the drake and then turn back on you.
Yeah. Which I think that kind of like can lead into a topic in and of itself. Difficulty. The game's difficulty, I feel like they literally tell you the difficulty. It's not meant for one person. This game's not meant for one person. But if you put enough time and effort in, you can play it as one person. But this game's clearly meant to be more difficult than what one person should be able to handle. And it should be a team effort of, I'd say at least two. If you got one buddy that can run with you, honestly, it makes the game experience just that much better. You know?
Makes for a lot more funny moments, a lot more memorable moments.
Oh
Because
yeah.
when you're playing solo, all you're focused on in solo is grinding. It's all you're doing is just grinding.
And that's the game for some people is just straight up grind. Which if you want to straight up grind, this is your game. It'll take you a few 100 hours to do because and I'm not talking about just straight up, going getting bronze, tin, iron, silver, black metal. That's not going to take you the hundreds of actually that'll take you quite a bit, but it's not going to take you the hundreds of hours itself. It's getting all the materials to make a house, make a forge, make the special forge, make the spinner, grow the crops. All of that is what adds up and really gives this game its length. But in that length, you can have such memorable moments with your friends while you're like, oh, well, I got this going on in the background. Why don't me and you go set sail and look for serpents while I teleport 10 feet off the boat and land in the water while a serpent's right there getting ready to eat my face off, and then I have to leave the game so I don't die because it was bullshit that I got teleported out. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't bring that example.
Well, back to the funny and memorable moments is you could be sailing by yourself, and your buddy makes another boat. You know where this story's going, you dickhead.
It's
And
uploaded, yeah.
you're just sailing along, mind your own business. You've got all the loot in the boat you have, and your buddy takes the boat he just built and ramps it using a wave, ramps over you, and almost destroys your boat with all your shit in it.
Yes, sir. And your boat was already damaged too, so that just made it
Yeah,
even better.
you damn near broke the, and your only reaction is you can find the short on his channel. It's my only reaction was what, why,
Funny.
and his entire response was basically that funny
Funny.
content,
Not even content, it was just funny.
funny.
Listen, I don't need the camera to do shit like that. Let's be real. I do it without a camera too, you know me.
Funny.
Funny. There's a lot of
But
very memorable moments that you can make in this game if you have multiple people and you're just goofing off having a good time. If you treat this game like a job, then it will become a job, right? Because this game can become a job very quickly. I mean, if you look around, this is the building that I handcrafted for what, 10 hours? Took me 10
this
hours
took us
to
probably
create this.
10 to 12 hours to build
Yeah,
all of this.
just this one building. And if you look out here, we have so many building. Well, not so many. I guess we only have like 5. But we have a bridge over there that took Chris like 4 hours.
Yeah, that took me 4 hours. 4 hours of just building it. R&D took like 2 more hours, so it took me a total of 6 hours to really get that bridge to where I could have it high enough for the boat to go underneath. 'Cause it's intended as a bridge for us to go underneath.
This
It
probably
took
took
me
me
about
about an hour and a half to this storage room here.
our smithy that we've rebuilt 3 times
Three times.
for various reasons.
Yep. We have a little dock over there, right?
That only took me about maybe an hour.
Why does the sawmill keep getting exploded?
Or our mill. Probably because
Yes.
shit keeps breaking it.
It just keeps getting exploded. All right, and it makes me mad. But yeah, like this has taken us so many hours, but I have to comment on this. The building in this game. This is kind of a review. This is a review for sure, but it's also just like story time, right? That's what it kind of feels like. The building
It's
in this
it's
game,
review.
though.
It's
Go
review
ahead.
slash reflection.
Yeah, the the building in this game is satisfying because you can make basically works of art with blocks in this game. I mean, it's kind of like Minecraft, but with a different art style and not as many build pieces. It feels, like just give a little tour of the house since I'm here. Like this,
Well,
all of this
if
took
you
so
if you
long.
take him down to the portal room, we built a circle in a game full of squares.
Oh, that is true. Like the building, there's a limitless. There's not really a limit to what you can build in this game. It's if you have the creative imagination and the willpower to make it work, right? Also, you have graylings that you can kick. That's like the best part of the game.
Yep, Grayling Soccer is the best part of the game. Are you kicking one right now?
I just kicked. I'm kicking him again. Kicked him twice. There's still a couple more kicks on him. I feel. Oh, I just kicked him again. He ran towards me. Oh, he's coming back. He wants more. Oh, he probably only has one left. You better get here. Oh, I'm walking away. Oh, I'm walking away. Oh, he's trying to hide behind a tree. Oh, I think he only has one more kick in him. Come on. I just see you walking over there.
I'm out of stamina.
You got this. You got
Reinforcing
this.
a point about stamina.
Yeah, everything takes stamina, and honestly, I think that's kind of the worst part about the game. The combat, the only thing that I have to say is the stagger is kind of strange to me. I don't necessarily mind it, but whenever you get hit, you have a little stagger bar. Matter of fact, come here, Chris. I'm gonna turn PvP on. Don't have any like swords or weapons out, but like hit me so I can demonstrate the stagger bar. I think you also have to have PvP on.
Hold on. It's on. It has a little like cooldown before I can turn it on.
Okay. What?
I think our armor is
Armor. Yeah, just take that shit off.
ar- we're too armored up to be harmed by unarmed attack now.
Yeah, go ahead and hit me. See that bar on the right side? Whenever you hit or get hit? That's the stagger. Now, I don't mind it, but it does become a nuisance at certain points in the game. Because say I'm attacking or being attacked. Yeah, I guess being attacked is going to be the better demonstration here. By the way, here's our circular building made of squares. It's not the prettiest, but it looks pretty dang good. But if you're being attacked by certain enemies, they can stagger you immediately, do 50 damage, even fully kitted out in max tier armor, and then you're staggered and you can get killed so quickly because you're staggered. If you have multiple enemies, I mean, yeah, you could say just play smarter, but at the same time, like, sometimes that stuff just happens by surprise. We've had stealth loxes in this game. And if you know what a lox is, you know that they should not be stealthy. But they have been.
But they can be very sneaky creatures.
They should not be
Oddly
able to
enough.
be sneaky, but they can be. Yeah. But,
Oddly enough, they can be very sneaky at times, and they
Yeah.
they'll wreck your shit. Even in maxed out, late game armor, they will still wreck you.
Yeah. And that just brings my point to like combat. Combat's good, but once you hit the end game, everything is still deadly, even though it feels like it shouldn't be. Even a death skeeto can be deadly due to the stagger that they can cause you, and then therefore cause you to get hit by other things, not necessarily them themselves by the end game, but the stagger that they deal to you. Uh,
But at the
eh,
same time, the combat in this game is
Beautiful.
the stagger can be annoying, but the combat is very
You playing soccer
it's
without me,
very
ball?
balanced.
Oh my
It's
lord.
very balanced in a way.
It is very balanced, I will say that. I think a unique system that the developers have is the food system, where certain foods give you more health, as you can see there, health, stamina. If it's meaty, it gives you a lot more health than it does stamina. But if it's like grainy or fruits or vegetables, you get more stamina than health. So basically, your veggies are giving you more stamina, as to where your food's giving you more health. And I think that's a very good system. What? Oh, it's because updates, yeah. But it's very interesting, the system that they've laid out for this game. And, and speaking of the developers, I just want to comment on this while we're here. These developers are probably some of the best developers I've seen. They don't rush out content just to satisfy fans. They don't rush it out. They don't give in. They have a dream for this game, a vision, a dream for this game, and they are sticking to it. And it's been a while since I've seen that in video games, and I commend them for it. That is a very, very good thing. It's because it's not often that you see that in this game, or not game, but in this day and age. You don't see developers that care about their games enough anymore, I feel, and it's just good to see. It's just really overall good to see.
I really do enjoy the developers' commitment to the vision they have for this game. Another thing I
Yeah.
want to touch on is the fact that you can over level to an extent, but you can't over level past the current boss you're fighting. Because you need to, in order to mine copper and tin, you need to beat Ichthyar. In order to go into the swamps, you need to beat the Elder. In order to find silver in the mountains, you have to beat Bone Mass. In order to craft things you need for the plains, you need to beat Motor.
Yep. The game
So
very
you
clearly
can
has a layout on how you're supposed to play it.
you can only level yourself to the you can only level yourself as far as that tier can take you, which
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like each stage of play, when you're when you're about to fight Ichthyar, you can get to Trollhide. Up to Trollhide is the most armor you can have, and you can upgrade that troll armor to level 4, which gives you the base stats for copper armor.
Mm-hmm.
And each armor's max level is the initial stats for the next tier of armor. And I love how that system is in place so that you can't go on and get black metal, then go fight all the bosses. Because if you try to go in the plains at level nothing, you will die immediately.
Oh, you'll get one-shotted. You don't even have to fully enter the plains. The Deathsquitos will come out of the plains to kill you. You would know that. It happened.
Yeah, it's happened before. I have alt F4'd the game because of it. That was on
Yes,
a
he
previous
has.
save. That wasn't this world. That was on a previous world.
Yep.
So I do love how that system's put in place where you can't level yourself to black metal then go and fight the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fight Ichthyar to get his antlers to mine
Yeah,
the copper.
and
You
I
have
can
to
agree.
fight
Go ahead.
you have to fight the elder in order to get the swamp key to go into the swamps to get iron. You have
Mm-hmm.
to fight Bone Mass to get the wishbone to go find silver. You have to fight Motor to get the dragon tears in order to make the artisan stuff so you can make the padded armor, which is your late game like max level armor.
Yeah. There's a clear sense of progression that the developers designed for you to follow. and they designed it well.
It's
They
so well
designed it
designed.
very well.
And you don't see that a whole lot in games nowadays because in other games nowadays you can sit there and you can go around, you can over level yourself. Elden Ring, for example, you can sit there and over level yourself
Pokemon's a better
to.
example.
Well, you can do an Elden Ring as well. Elden Ring it's a lot harder to do because you have to start slow.
Yeah.
But in Elden Ring, you can over level yourself before you fighting the first boss, and you can go and one shot the first boss
Yep.
because you over leveled yourself to like whatever, and then people do that and say the game is easy. It's like no, you just sat there and spent your first 12 hours of the game over leveling and then fought the first boss.
Yeah, that's kind of cringe, but we're not talking about Elden Ring. Okay.
We're not talking about that, but it's to give an example of games that don't really have a limit system to how far you can go before you fight bosses.
And I think a limit system is good if you have a vision for the game, like these developers clearly have. I do feel like
Be right back.
okay, I do feel like the ability to go out and creatively choose your own path of leveling up is also a very good system because it gives the players more freedom to do what they want. Now, I'm not saying this game limits freedoms in terms of that because you may not be able to get iron, but you'll still be able to go, if you have enough control, you can go get the ancient bark, or you might even be able to get lox hide. Don't really know or wolf hide, I guess, if you're sneaky enough in the mountains. I mean, in this game, in this world specifically, we killed wolves before we even killed the elder, right?
Yeah, there are ways to circumvent the progression system, but you can't do it in terms of tiers of armor.
Yeah.
You could probably do it with silver, but have fun going in the mountains and mining the entire mountain out to find a silver vein without the
To
wishbone.
be fair, you could probably do it with copper too. You could use a troll to mine your copper, mine your tin.
Which we have done.
But you cannot do it with iron. You cannot do it with iron. There's no way to circumvent that. There's no way to go around
Iron
it.
is literally hard locked behind the swamp key, which you have to fight the elder to get.
Swamp key and pickaxe, which you would have to kill. God damn it, I'm forgetting the name of the first boss. Ichthyar.
Ichthyar.
You'd have to kill Ichthyar minimum, and then you'd have to kill the Elder minimum as well to get the Swamp Key. So I think Iron's really the only one that's limited. No. Black Metal's limited.
Black metal, if you can find a way to no, you
have to
have
kill
to have
Murder.
art you have to have dragon tears in order to get to smelt black metal. So black metal is also hard locked behind a boss.
Yep. And that's okay. That's okay. That was clearly the developers' vision for the game. And it's good that they had a vision. I feel like a lot of games nowadays are made without a direction they want to go in.
And
People want to
I
do
love that progression
something, but
system.
yeah, people want to do
I love
something,
that.
but they don't know what they want to do. So it's good to see a game that clearly has a system in place where they know what they want you to do, and they're going to make you do it in this order, the way they want you to do it. Starting at iron, I guess. So.
But in the same note, right? The developers don't force you to go linear in that. You could spend your first 20 hours in this game building.
Oh yeah,
Like
100%.
literally,
Honestly,
you could
I
spend your
think
first 20 hours
I
building.
think
They don't force you to go fight the bosses. They just
mhm,
make it to where you have to fight the bosses in order to progress tiers of equipment.
mhm.
So, if you want to become more efficient at cutting trees down, you have to fight each boss in order to get the better metals to cut trees down more efficiently. But you can do it just as effectively if you want to sit there and level all your stats to 100 before you go and fight any bosses. You can do that.
You
If
have
you
the
want to
freedom to
sit
do so,
there
yeah.
if you want to build a house like the one we're sitting in now, or build an entire village like we have here before you go fight any bosses, you have the freedom to do so. You're not limited behind, well, except for some building items, you can't build like item frames or a few things without like bronze nails. But even then, you can get a troll to help you mine the copper and tin, collect
Mhm.
it, build the smelter with certling cores, because all you really need to do is find Surtling cores,
Rocks and Surtling cores, that's all you need for that.
and you can build more stuff.
Yeah.
It's so nice how they have it to where you have the freedom in the game, but at the same time you have to progress if you want to do bigger things, to do bigger builds, to do more things, to fight more enemies.
Yep.
But as stated before, if you want to sit there and level all of your stats to 100 before you fight anything, you have that freedom to do so. It's going to take you a while if you don't fight Ichthyar or any of the bosses first, but if you want to do that, you have the freedom to do so.
Except for pickaxes. You can't get pickaxes if you don't
True.
fight Ichthyar.
If you don't fight you really have to fight Ichthyar to kick off everything in the game.
Mm-hmm. They also have a horde of waves of enemies, like waves of enemies that occasionally spawn whenever you're near a workbench. I feel like that was creative in a way, but I feel like that's more or less after the first few times of, oh my gosh, trolls are coming to attack my village, it's just more of a nuisance thing, right?
So one thing with that is, while it's annoying, I love the variety of it. Like, it's not always just the forest is walking, the horde is attacking. There's raids of Surtlings, there's raids of trolls, there's raids of wolves, there's raids for I think there's Draugr too, right?
Yes, there are Draugr. And skeletons. Draugr and skeletons are
And
mixed right there.
skeletons, Draugr and skeletons. Like, there's all the different varieties of enemies can be in raids, and you don't know which one's gonna happen at any point in time.
There's also a raid of boars.
All you see is, oh yeah, there is one of boars as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All you see is a red circle populated on the map, and you just see a text on your screen saying the forest is walking, the horde's attacking, you're being hunted. There's a smell of sulfur in the air, the ground begins to shake, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And well, yes, it gets annoying after a few times, especially if it happens like 3 or 4 times in one session within 3 hours, which has happened to us.
It's happened more than 3 or 4 times in one session.
I'm
I think
talking
our most
within
was
like
6.
Yeah, it's happened like 6 times in one session. That was like maybe a 5-hour session.
Less. 4. But yeah.
So, but I do love the variety they put into the raids. It's so nice to see. It's not always just gray dwarfs, and it's not always just gray dwarfs and boars, and there's a variety system in there for the raids, and I love that because you never know what you're gonna fight. Now, I will say, if you see the horde is attacking, you better have good food. You better have your equipment ready to go, because you'll probably die if you don't have that.
I'm pretty sure the horde doesn't attack until you've killed a what are they called? Foaling?
Yeah. And that's also cool, because the different hordes don't attack until you've killed that enemy type. So you're not gonna get a raid that you're not prepared for. The game knows that, hey, you've killed that thing before, so
and
I'm
the thing
gonna
is you have to get the final hit in order to have it actually register as you killed that mob, right? So say you're fighting a troll and a death skeeto comes out of nowhere and bites his big old juicy booty, right? And kills him, and you have never killed a troll before, you're not going to get raided by trolls until you've actually killed a troll, because then it counts that death skeeto's killing that troll, right? So that's a cool mechanic there in terms of the raids, is you technically can never get a raid if you play your cards right.
If you go full pacifist run, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you sit there and tame a bunch, if you sit there and just tame animals, you just sit there and just tame animals.
I'm not sure the taming thing works. I'm not sure.
I think taming animals, they count as your kill, because those are your animals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work there. But you know, say you lead a gray dwarf into some Draugrs. That would work. Go ahead.
Or into a group of skeletons.
Yeah, true.
Or lead a group of Fullings into, like, a group of skeletons, group of Draugr, group. Albeit the Fullings will absolutely destroy skeletons, Grey Dwarfs, and Draugr.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we have Fullings fight a troll at some point, and like 2 Fullings killed the troll?
Yes.
And the troll only managed to almost kill 1?
No, he killed 1. He did kill 1. He did. Yeah,
That's
I
just
got
testament
videos
how
of
strong
these.
Fullings
Yep,
are. That's testament how strong Fullings are in this game. Fullings are terrifying.
they really are. The first
And
time
if
you
you're not,
see a Fulling,
you're like, oh, little goblin boy, he should be easy. You smack him, you see a little tiny sliver of health go away,
and then
and
he
you realize
smacks
you
you
just
and you get staggered and you're just going like this. I did a motion.
and then you realize how bad you just fucked up because now you have three of them on you, and you're just running for your life at that point
So
with
one
mosquitoes
soundbite,
chasing you.
and at this moment, he knew he fucked up.
Yeah, it's literally that. It's literally that. And next thing you know, you have like three Fullings, a mosquito chasing you. Then a boar decides to join in the mix. Then some Grados decide to join in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But albeit they'll start fighting each other.
If you're lucky, they will. Sometimes they just
But
aggro on you and they just go for you.
now we have done that before. We have kited wolves into deer and then used the deer distraction to fight the wolf and
I
kill
mean,
it.
we've straight up killed wolves while we were naked before. Like, it means nothing to us. Like, we've played this game enough to know our limitations are
If you have a
nowhere near
bow,
a new player's, right? If you can
if you
get a
if
bow, you
you
can kill anything.
if you have a bow and enough stamina, you can kill anything in this game. Now, when it comes to certain things, it will take you ages to kill it, but you can kill it.
Yep. I'd have to say, though, like, the boss fights in this game are amazing. The building in this game is amazing. The combat is amazing. The sailing, we haven't even talked about the sailing. The sailing's awesome.
Oh, I love sailing. Oh fuck. Well, here's what we were talking about. Hold on, I got this.
I'm assuming we're getting raided.
I got it.
What was it? My screen was, I had no UI.
It says It said you stirred the cauldron.
Stirred the cauldron? That's a different one.
Yeah, that's a new one. I'm not sure what that was.
Stirred the cauldron. I'm trying to think of what that could have even been.
Well, we could probably find remains of what was attacking us
Bones?
somewhere.
I see bones. What's this? Control F3 tab.
Skeletons? No, not skeletons.
Leather scraps? The hell? But yeah, that's like one of the instances where you don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. That's our first time ever seeing that raid pop up. I'm actually curious as to what it was. Stirring the cauldron.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, you look that one up. I'm going to continue talking about the bosses and everything, but I'd have to say in terms of boss fights, I think Bone Mass is the worst one, but that's just because Bone Mass, I fought him solo right after he got a extreme buff, and I was salty about that. But all the boss fights are very well choreographed. They're very well made. They all have different unique abilities, and they make you use your head and think, all right, is this a time where I should charge in? Is this a time where I should hang back, heal, hang back, regen stamina? Is this a time where I should do this or that? And honestly, it's really good whenever a boss battle actually makes you use your head and not just hand you a reward because, you played a game. I feel like that's a big issue in games, is like things are just way too easy. They hold your hand way too much in games anymore, and I don't like that personally. That's just not a personal thing that I like. Hello, Skeleton.
Bats?
But that's dope, bro. A bat raid?
Bats? Those are new.
Those aren't new. They were in the cave update.
That's new for. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember that now. Because we fought them in the caves, and we really annoyed because they would fly around us and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
bats.
also, there's such a diverse amount of mobs in this game. Like, they put some real thought and effort into the designing and moveset of the mobs and the diversity of the mobs. Like, you have bats, skeletons. Every mob, or almost every mob type, has a 1 and 2 star variation, which can change the health pool and the damage, and maybe even the moveset of them. I'm not sure about that one. But I know it changes the health and the damage, and the appearance as well. Uh, there's trolls, there's Draugr Elite, Certlings,
Oh, that's new. That's something I found out just now.
Wolves. What?
So certain raids get disabled by defeating bosses.
Really?
So yeah, so Ichthyar Valley creatures. The reason we haven't seen the animal one is because it's enabled by starting the world, disabled by defeating Ichthyar.
Oh, that's unique. I didn't know
The
that.
forest that's moving is enabled by defeating Ichthyar, disabled by defeating the Elder. A foul smell from the swamp is enabled by defeating the Elder, disabled by Bone Mass.
Yeah, let's go take a
A
boat ride.
a cold wind blows from the mountains, Bone Mass Motor.
Hmm.
The horde is attacking, Motor Yagluth.
Hmm.
The ones the only ones that aren't the only ones that cannot be disabled are trolls, blobs, skeletons, certlings, wolves, and bats. Those are the ones that cannot be disabled. So we will no longer see animals, gray dwarfs, Draugr skeletons, drakes,
Oh,
or fullings.
before
We
we
won't
even
see those anymore
continue
because
on this
we've
review,
defeated all the bosses. Yeah,
before we even
that's
continue
cool.
on this review, that is really cool. This
Yeah,
is
that's
an
a cool detail.
early.
That's a detail I did not know in this game.
Yeah, I didn't know that they canceled out, but this is an early access game, and it feels more polished and finished than a majority come down to the boat than a majority of games nowadays, which is amazing. It's astounding how well off this game, how polished it feels. It's only 1 gigabyte as well, which is insane to me. It's not
So
often that you see a
I had
game
to
of
kill
this
a gray dwarf.
size be this good. I feel like we're really starting to see the rise of indie games, right? Honestly, it feels
Well,
like there's
it seems like any developers have a lot more pride and a lot more vision
they
for
have
their
passion.
games than
They have
AAA
passion.
companies. Lot more. Yeah, that's the word. Passion was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, as where AAA companies just want money.
Yeah, the AAA companies have lost their passion for games and they just want the money.
Mm-hmm. And
Perfect
honestly,
examples being, perfect examples being 2042, Infinite, fucking the last few Call of Duty games.
yeah, Vanguard sucked dick. But like this game is so well off for such a small dev studio and indie game. It's just so amazing, and
And
they're
I
going
think
to be
it's really
dropping the
sad.
Mistlands soon.
Yes, they are. And I think it's so sad how small of a player base this game has for being so good.
This game actually has a bigger player base than most other games. Let's be real.
Well, last I knew, this game had a pretty small player base.
I think it was at like 20,000 last I checked, which is crazy actually. That's insane numbers.
So 20,000 is better than most of the new AAA games that got released during last year and this year.
Yeah. I'd say the only thing that really outdoes these types of games are live service games and MMOs. That's the only real games that outdo this type of game. And free to play, I guess, like certain other free to plays. But most other
And
free to plays are MMOs.
and this is coming from someone who Valheim is not their style of game. I don't play survival craft games very often, but Valheim is one of those that I genuinely you just ran into a rock, nice. I generally enjoyed
You ran
Valheim
into a rock.
as a survival craft game, and I don't usually play survival craft games.
Yeah,
I'm a big FPS guy, like hack and slash, stuff like that.
I feel like Valheim is just so unique.
Valheim has the capability to suck anybody in with all of its various mechanics.
The only people this game wouldn't attract are the people who have very, very short attention spans.
Oh yeah, if you have a short attention span, this game is not going to be for you. You're not going to be able to get hooked to this game because everything requires so much attention, so much focus, so much concentration.
MMO
Smelting is one of those.
junkies will definitely love this game, though. I'm an MMO junkie, first of all, and like Valheim is right up my alley. It has the perfect amount of grind, memeage, and just charm to it. You know?
Now I will say, back to your point earlier, if you take this game too seriously, you will not be able to have fun in it because you'll just get too sucked into grinding and all kinds of other dumb things that you don't have to really focus on in the game. You don't have to focus on grinding everything out fast, like really fast, because the game allows you to set your own pace for everything.
Exactly. And it's like you have no one to race with at that rate, right? No one to race with but yourself.
And as I said earlier, if you want to sit there and you want to build a whole village before you fight the first boss, do it. If you want to sit there and level up all the stats you can before you fight Ichthyar, do it.
If you had to put a
Right,
number on this game, Chris, out of 10, what would you call it?
This game is easily
I'm gonna call it 10 out of 10.
This game is easily for me with the few gripes that I have, like the very few gripes that I have, a 9.8 out of 10.
I'm just gonna call that 10 because I round. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 game from me. This game, it's charming, it's creative, it's inventive, it's different, it's hardcore. It has good boss fights, good combat, good everything. It's
I know we mentioned this in the past, but the ranking of boss fights, easily Ichthyar is at the top. Well,
I just love
I know
Ichthyar so much.
for me, it's a toss between Ichthyar and Motor because Motor was a really fun fight too.
Motor was extremely fun. I'd say for me it goes Ichthyar, Motor Yag, and then Elder.
Yag, while a very stressful fight, Yag is a very fun fight. Yag is the only boss in the game that has the Yag is the only boss in the game that has anything close to voice lines with him.
I think he actually does have voice lines, which is really cool.
Which being an in-game boss, that makes sense.
In-game for now.
In-game at the current moment boss, yes, makes sense.
By the way, this is a pre-Mistlands review. Alright. So if you're watching in the future, this is pre-Mistlands.
If you're watching after Mistlands update, this is pre-Mistlands. Full disclaimer.
Yeah, we are going to be doing a post-Mistlands update and probably a review for every big patch that they do, which they don't have too terribly many left. But yeah, Bone Mass is easily the last one because I fought him solo. He's just not fun. He's just man.
Bone Mass is easily my least favorite fight as well because he's just not fun.
He's literally just adds and poison. Like,
yeah, his moveset is very boring. All he does is he channels his inner vapor, makes a cloud of poison. He spawns a bunch of ads. He's just very annoying.
Yeah.
The Elder is probably like, let's see. So for me, it would go. I think Motor takes the cake over Ichthyar just by a small margin for me. For me, it's like Motor, Ichthyar, Yag, the Elder, and Bone Mass. The Elder is fun, but the Elder is also one of those annoying bosses that he has a counter for everything you want to do to him, right? He has a ranged attack, he has AoE, he has a melee attack. If you try to get far away, he just range hits you with vines. He has this giant AoE he does between every single attack that spawn vines to the ground that will attack you, which I guess you can consider those ads because the vines do attack you and you can kill them.
They are ads.
Yeah. And he also has a melee attack if you get close to him.
Yeah, that's why I said, for me it goes Ichthyar. Ichthyar, as he may have ranged, he doesn't summon ads. He is very well choreographed. You know what he's gonna do and when he's gonna do
You're
it.
back.
All right, you know what he's gonna do when he's gonna do it. He's just a very fun boss, and he's also, what you typically think whenever you think Norse mythology. A Norse-looking deer. Has the ornaments on the antlers and everything that spews lightning. I mean, Ichthyar's an actual character in Norse mythology, if y'all didn't know. But he's what you think of. Motor is also extremely fun. Motor has ranged. I think the worst part about Motor is it flies, but that just makes it such a
All right, back. Hold on, my
unique
headset's not on yet.
boss fight. I don't know why I think my camera's dying, but yeah, such a unique boss fight there. And it's just so good whenever Motor goes up, flies, lands. You know when
Oh
he's
yeah.
going to do it. It's just making a
You
game
mean
plan
she?
for when he
You
does
mean
it.
you mean she? Because Motor is a female.
I will say what I please, mother frick. What I please.
Now I will say, in ranking of emotional feeling in boss fights, Motor is easily at the top because Motor is the only boss in the game that makes you feel sad for killing her.
You kind of destroy her eggs.
So you destroy her eggs to spawn her, and when you kill her, Motor it literally says she cries, like she is crying.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you use her ability, right? It says even in death, Motor still cries, and that just Motor's boss fight just triggers you to be so it makes you feel bad for Motor.
Well, I didn't, but then again,
So
yeah, it's
in
me.
terms of emotional boss fights, Motor is at the top because Motor's the only boss that make the game makes you feel bad for killing. You're like, she was just a mother trying to avenge her children. Like, damn, I crushed 3 of her eggs to spawn her, and then I killed her. I feel like a monster.
No. Personally, no, I don't feel like a monster. In fact, I'd kill her again. I'd kill her babies too.
But
Anyway.
I would definitely do Motor's boss fight again because Motor's boss fight is so. I'm pretty sure you were talking about it, but Motor's boss fight is so good
It's
in
unique.
terms of
It's unique.
her movement. It's a mix of ranged and melee. She goes up in the air. You have to fire at her arrows, and then when she comes down, you can go in for melee. And she has such a good move set. It's very balanced. It doesn't make you feel like you're fighting a wall. You can get close comfortably without her just AoE knocking you away from her.
Yeah. There were quite a few close calls in the Motor fight, though. A lot of close
There,
calls.
there were. Now, on Ichthyar's fight, you've already covered it, but Ichthyar has really good moveset, very easily telegraphed too, so you can counter his moveset very easily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna repair the boat real quick. Hold on. Full disclaimer for anyone watching the video: I am in debug mode,
Because
so
he's
that
that
if
guy.
anything happens, if anything happens, I can solve it while we're doing the review because I don't want any interruption in the review.
Yeah. Bone Mass is just... We've already talked about Bone Mass, just bullshit. Elder, bullshit.
Bone mass is just disgusting all around.
Yagluth had a crazy moveset, which was why I liked that fight so much.
Yagluth had a crazy
insane
moveset, but it gave you the sense that he was the end game boss.
He was that guy, you know?
It really gave you the sense of he is the end game boss for a reason. He had the fucking meteor strike. He had that death beam he put out. He had his AoE
Death
like
Beam was
fire
my favorite.
attack. That death beam was so good.
Death Beam was...
He
It
had
just
his-
looks so good. That's why I put it as the thumbnail.
He had his melee his usual melee. We also had that AoE fire and lightning attack he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yagluth does a really good job at giving you the feeling that he is the end game boss. He is the king of like, what do they call what are the
Fullings.
bosses called?
He's the king of Fullings, but
For the Forsaken, that's what they are.
yeah, those guys.
Like
the
he
dudes,
is like he is the king. He is the king of the Forsaken.
which he really is, honestly. And it's such a good moveset, and it's like we've said, it's easily choreographed. There's also sound. that goes along with his moveset, so you know what he's going to do not only from visuals, but from the audio, which is insanely good because I think more games should have it like that, right? Especially for
His
like,
audio. Oh, world save. Okay, cool. His audio in the boss fight is like it's like almost eargasm level. I'll say
oh
that
yeah,
right now.
oh yeah,
It's like almost eargasm because he's the only boss, like we said, that has voice lines in the game, even if it is just like a laugh.
yeah. Honestly, I think Yagluth is one of the best.
Now, the other
It's
bosses do
very
have
tight for
sound to
those
them.
three.
The other bosses do make sounds, but in terms of Ichthyar, it's just a little roar he does. In terms of motor, it's the same thing. With Bone Mass, it's another. It's just roaring. It's not actual voice lines.
Yeah, it's just that as to where Yagluth, he'll actually occasionally say some things that, if you've ever played Diablo, it sounds like Diablo whenever he talks in Diablo 1, which is really old game. I don't know if the people watching would have played Diablo 1, but in any case, it's kind of like that, you know?
You might have a few. Oh, good example here. Are we against the wind right now?
Yes. Go ahead and motor for me. Oh yeah, these bad, but you were too far away, so you have to steer the boat.
Oh fuck. Yep. But yeah, even well, my screen literally just said even in death, motor still cries.
Mm-hmm. I just have the power of Ichthyar.
Yeah, the other ones like it says you activate the power of Ichthyar, you do this. The only one that actually makes you feel anything is even in death, motor still cries.
Yeah. And you know, this is all, not fully finished. Like I said, this is an early access game. Everything here that we're talking about today is subject to change later, right? It can change, and some of it will change, obviously. They'll probably add
Yes,
more story to the game. They'll
some
add
will
more
change because
bosses, enemies.
Yagla's boss item can't just remain Yagla thing forever.
Yes, it can. Don't you dare tell me my Yagla thing is going to go away. Alright? It's in my inventory. I'm looking at it right now. Don't you tell me
Yagla
my
thing.
Yagla thing's going away.
I love
But,
how they named it that too, just Yagla thing.
yeah, just placeholder item. Yeah. And, everything here is subject to change. But overall, I think what we're getting at in this review is this game is a 10 out of 10 must play if you have any interest in survival craft. Like, even if it's the slightest.
Now, while this game, speaking on visual, while this game may not be the most graphically detailed and intricate game, it's
This
still
game's like
beautiful.
1.5
Like
gigabytes.
if you look up at the world tree, that is a beautiful view every single time you look up at it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though that is just a even though that's just a PNG at the top, but even still, that is a beautiful view to look up at. When you're sailing and you look by and you see the clouds in the distance, even though you can tell those are is that a mountain or a cloud? I think it's a cloud. Yeah, it's a cloud.
Mountain to our left.
Oh yeah, it's a mountain. I can see it. I can see the shape of it now. But off in the distance, like you can see the land masses and stuff, and it's just so pretty. And
This game
this
is
game,
beautiful visually, both with lighting and with textures. It's insane the lighting that they've done. I think the best part of lighting is whenever you go into the dark forest at sunset, when half of the screen can be orange and the other half is some misty blue color. Oh, that is true beauty in this game. Right? And they got environmental details. It rains, it fogs, it rains extremely hard to the point where you'll see Thor in the sky. There are extremely hard rains.
and when you're sailing and you're in a thick fog and you come out of the fog, it's like a veil opens up and you just see the vast ocean in front of you. It's
Indeed.
so
Yeah.
it's so beautiful and it's simple. The graphics are simple. Their textures are very simple. The character models are very simple.
And this
But-
isn't a hard game to run, so most PCs can run this game too.
Yeah, at the highest settings too. Like so you can get the most out of the game.
Which is something that I think we're running into a lot more. Everyone's trying to be omega realistic, and it's,
Well,
requiring
here's
2060s,
here's
3060s to
oh,
run it, but
my point right here. We just came out of the fog, and you can look behind us. You can see the fog behind us. When you look out, you just see vast ocean in front of us.
I think the best part is like the lighting here. I have my screen centered on you. To the right, it's super blue, and to the left, it's a hazy gray due to the fog. Right? It's just so beautiful. Like this game's textures, lighting, environmental detail is just so good. There's so much to love about this game. But, as we've been saying here, there's so many unique things in this game that it really makes it a true experience that you should experience for yourself with friends. Obviously with friends. If you have to do it by yourself, this game is playable by yourself, but it's much more enjoyable with at least one friend. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely better with. It's better with if you have at least one person with you.
Mm-hmm. Because then when you struggle and you have hardships, you can blame them.
Yes.
Yes.
like we have done many times with each other.
Yeah. God, why would you do that? He just hit you. I didn't do it. You lie. God.
Motors run out, so you're back to. It doesn't matter who steers now, as long as we're within the wind.
Well, I think that's where a good place to end the review video. If you
Yep.
if you like the video.
In summary, great gameplay, amazing combat, amazing
Great
bosses,
graphics.
amazing graphically and just visually.
Overall, a 10 out
Good.
of 10.
Yeah, overall, yeah, it's amazing.
The only
I would
thing it's
definitely
lacking
recommend
is
this game
story.
to anybody.
Only thing it's lacking is story,
Would-
which will be added to. So.
Well, this game does have kind of a story. If you when you first load into your world, it tells you like why you're here and what you're doing.
It has a bit, and they've changed it a couple of times already. But, it's still a work in progress, just like the entire game is. So, we hope you all enjoyed, right? We hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day, night, evening, whatever it is for you all. My name is legit Jesh, and
My name is Soup Doge.
this has been a Valheim review. Goodbye.